Welcome to your Dream Coach podcast. Today, I am jumping into the topic of communication and how communication is the backbone of success in any business. As a small business coach, my name is Shayla Way. I do see communication as one of the biggest breakdowns as a reason for leadership struggles within teams, inefficiencies, and even lost revenue. And whether you're listening today as a CEO, a manager, leader, or employee, your ability to communicate effectively really determines so much of your success. And I have spent a lot of time working with different types of companies, employees, and a company's success is built on its people. And when we have effective communication, that fosters trust, alignment, and collaboration. And so as a CEO or a manager, you set the vision. If your team doesn't understand it clearly, they can't execute. And I've met with a variety of different CEOs and managers that are frustrated with the growth of their team. They've reached out to me to get some support and, what do we need to do as a business to grow? And how can I get my employees excited? And, all these different challenges that they're having. And one of the first questions I'll ask people is, well, what is the vision and the mission of your business, your company as the leader? And what I have found time and time again is sometimes when we've been running a business for a long time and we have success and, we can keep doing what we're doing, is it often does come down to the leadership not sharing where the business is going. And when we get really clear on what it is that we want in our business and how we're going to get there, as a CEO and manager, we can get really excited to lead a team of people when we're really clear on that vision. And when we're the employee and we're working in that environment and we have a clear vision and expectations and that communication is happening, it allows us to feel more comfortable to ask for help. And this allows you to share those insights that make you an asset to the team. And I've had many calls with companies where once we implement some sort of communication strategy, whether that's using a Slack system, whether that's implementing a daily sales huddle or team connection calls, even just having bi-weekly staff meetings has been an absolute game changer when it comes to the frustration and in turn the communication that not only the employees want from their boss or their manager, but also the expectations that managers have with their staff. And I was working with a company, I've been working with them now for quite a few months, and there was a lot of frustration with communication. And we simply took a step back, looked at, where that communication was falling short. And there's a few pieces to it, but one of the biggest things that really shifted for this company was implementing just a bi-weekly staff meeting. Now, I'm not saying staff meetings are the end all be all in terms of communication, but what I do know is that when we have a space in our schedule to have an intentional meeting with looking at results, looking ahead, planning, and at the end of the day, really just coming up for air to reflect on what's going well, what's coming ahead, it can be pivotal for not only the employees and how they feel, but also for that manager, that CEO, that leader to be able to have a place that they can continuously be sharing that vision and that mission with their company, with their team, so that we are moving forward in the direction of hitting that 1 year, 3 year, even 5 year vision. And so implementing something as simple as an owner's meeting, a sales huddle, a daily check-in, some sort of communication strategy that works in favor for both the manager and the employee really can take away a lot of frustration and streamline communication when it comes to working in a team. When we look at communication and how this really, poor communication is really the number one cause of conflict and lost revenue. I had a coaching client that I met with a while back now, and this individual had been in this company for over a decade and had never had a one-on-one meeting with their boss. There was golf and there were different things that happened here and there, but had never in over a decade had a one-on-one meeting with their boss. And you can imagine during our coaching session how frustrating that was, because this employee was committed, was coachable, was dedicated, and all they wanted was just a little bit of time from the owner to communicate what's going well, what are some of the frustrations. And fortunately, we were able to work through some strategies, and that employee was able to reach out to their boss and just share, like, this is what I need, right? Being direct. And, I'm grateful to share that they now have weekly or monthly meetings where they're able to now have that communication. But what a simple thing where all that employee needed was some time. And now there's a place to have constructive meetings for both parties to feel that they are moving in the right direction. And so what I found as a coach is that misunderstandings can lead to confusion, lost time, and ultimately lost money. We work really hard to retain people. We work really hard to stay motivated, and we can have a lot of things in place. But if we don't have clear communication, and as a leader, if our expectations aren't clearly communicated, employees might take action in the wrong direction, wasting resources, time. And as an employee, if we don't speak up about these issues, they definitely can snowball into bigger problems. I had a client that I met with last week who was really frustrated with the way that one of the managers was showing up. And when we talked about it, it really wasn't even about that one particular issue, but it was that snowball effect of all those little frustrations that really exploded this situation to a level because of lack of communication. So when a sales team, when a leadership team, when employees are trained properly, there's clear expectations and guidelines. Studies have even shown that companies with open communication cultures retain employees longer and see higher profits. And so creating documents, creating systems, standards of procedures, checklists, training manuals are all really easy to do and easy not to do. And for some of you listening, this might seem like a pretty fundamental skill, but from my experience of working with a lot of different types of businesses, systems and documenting these types of training procedures is really one of the things I support a lot of companies with when they are looking to grow and scale. And great communicators really are the best leaders. In my years in direct sales, I remember someone sharing with me that oftentimes the best leaders are asking the questions they don't want to hear the answers to. It's easy as leaders to sometimes just shove things under the rug and ignore them because the aftermath or the real answer might not what we want to be, what we want to hear. But leadership isn't just about making decisions. It's about inspiring action through words. And when we can get to a place as a leader where we can ask our employees, our team, questions that might make us feel a little uncomfortable, we are going to get to the root of the challenge a lot quicker than just pretending everything's okay. And this goes for an employee as well, is that when there is something that you'd like to ask for, there's something that you have an idea about, strong communication skills as an employee make you a leader, even if you don't have a title. And I love that idea of just being a leader without a title, no matter what our role is the best employees are proactively asking questions, providing solutions, and engaging in meaningful discussions. And a tip that I'm often giving to employees is if we don't have a way of communicating with our boss, our manager, then they aren't mind readers, right? The people that are in a CEO or manager position have the busiest schedules. And so as a manager, we need to make sure that we articulate that vision and we're providing feedback and doing check-ins and allowing our team to feel safe with being able to communicate. But as an employee, it's important for us as well that we find the right times to communicate if we have questions or we have an ask that's going to set us up for success in our role. And when I think back to a coaching session I had not long ago with somebody that was in this position of really feeling burnt out, this employee was going to be having a vacation coming up in a few months, but was really somebody that had been working consistently for a good stretch of time and was really, really feeling it. And we had to really work through this employee that taking time off, even just taking a weekend to just regroup is actually sometimes a solution we need to be able to show up authentically as our full self with the energy that we need to be in that role. And it was just shifting mindset. And it turns out that this employee was able to have a conversation with their boss. They were able to find, a couple days for this member to take some time off. And I just had a coaching session with this person yesterday, and it was night and day. So communication on both ends of asking with what we want as an employee, and then also as a manager, really understanding that we do want to work with our team in a way that we can make sure that they're able to be in their best space while they're in that role and while they're in the work setting. Communication also, I've found, really drives customer trust and business growth. Your external communication really determines how customers perceive your brand. And this goes with any different type of business. I've worked with clients that are, in the law firm industry. I've worked with small businesses that are in more of a storefront. I've worked with sales leaders. I've worked with a variety of different types of people and businesses. And when we have a strong external communication strategy, we can clearly continue to articulate our company's visions, our values. Customers can gain trust. And in a world where everything is so transactional, it's so quick, everything is just moving at a really fast pace, is when we can take that time to have a clear strategy so that our clients feel heard, and we can communicate in a way that allows our clients to really understand our vision, our mission. Where is this? Is that everybody that interacts with their business should feel that vision, whether it's through email communication, it's a website, it's an interaction, that they can feel that. And the best communicators win in negotiations and in sales. Business success is about persuasion, influencing, and selling. And it's not just about products, but ideas. And so as a leader, we have to negotiate in a lot of different ways to ensure that we've got good investors and partners and top talent. And as a salesperson and an employee, your ability to communicate the value of what you have to offer, whether that's a product, an experience, a service, directly will impact your value. And I've been coaching a lot of employees lately, especially in my sales companies that I've been working with, on how not to just show up as a salesperson, because oftentimes someone's already coming to your business because you have what they need. So how do we come at this with a different angle where our communication is still strong, but we're coming at it from an angle that really is in alignment with our values and who we are as a business and as that salesperson? And so when we think about communication in all the different ways that I wove through today, communication is really the most critical skill in business, affecting leadership, team performance, revenue, customer trust, and sales. And so as we wrap up today, I want you to ask yourself, where can you improve with your communication? And I want you to challenge yourself to implement one communication upgrade this week, whether it's a better staff meeting, it's clearer messaging, or just even practicing active listening. And if you have found anything from today valuable, I would be super grateful for you to share this episode on any of your socials. You can tag Shayla Way Coaching. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen in, and have an amazing day.